Nick Morgan, one of the founders of Opportunity Private Capital, joins us again in Talking Point today. Opportunity Private Capital is a boutique investment company based in Cape Town, and they present capital investment opportunities for private investors in the property development sector. Good morning, Nick, and welcome back.
Mark, good to hear your voice again. Really good to be back. Thanks very much.
Great. So please give us a quick recap of what you do and how your company has been performing over the past 5 years.
Mark, to answer your question briefly, for the listeners, we present secure investment opportunities for private investors to earn attractive fixed returns on their capital by investing in property developments. The investors in this case have the benefits of investing during the course of the development itself, because this is where the bulk of the value is extracted, of course, and hence the decent historic returns that have been achieved by the investors. And it's interesting because we focused on a particularly niche sector, that being the middle income areas of Cape Town, which have held up really well, despite, I think, the challenges experienced around the world and especially in this country, in South Africa. So, to your question, Mark, looking at the last 5 years, investors have earned on average around 17% a year over that period, which is pretty consistent.
It absolutely is. Now, Nick, we know that no investment is 100% guaranteed, but you have some strategies in place to mitigate risk for investors, don't you?
Mark, you're right. Firstly, yes, no investment 100% guaranteed, but among other factors, of course, there are three main or primary ways in which risk is mitigated or reduced in this case. Firstly, the entire structure is based on protecting investor capital. So, of course, the attractive fixed returns are also great. The attractive returns don't mean a thing if your capital is not protected. Thus, the development assets in this case are held as security for investors' capital until they're repaid, which is a crucial component hereof. And secondly, as mentioned earlier, the focus is on small to medium-sized developments in high-demand, middle-income suburbs of the greater Cape Town area. And this mitigates risk in large because these are among the best performing areas in the country, especially in difficult times like this. And then lastly, there are very strict protocols in place for the flow of funds, with professional independent parties checking and authorizing the flow and utilization of all investment funds into the developments.
It's great to see that private investors are getting the opportunity to invest in property developments. Now, how does this actually benefit the development itself?
Mark, it's a good question. It's good you mentioned that the private investors are getting the opportunity. When looking at this in more depth, one realizes there's so many benefits to this strategy, as it allows for a far greater operating freedom and latitude. So, for example, the developments can start much faster, so this reduces the holding costs significantly. Projects work according to their own timelines without any external pressure or influence, which is vital. Sales are systematically rolled out during the course of the entire project. So there's no urgency to sell units at fixed prices at the beginning of the project, which obviously lowers one's margins. So, in short, and to summarize, investors get fantastic value, really good returns with protection, and all the other role players get a more flexible, effective, and profitable operation. So all parties involved derive benefits.
Now, I know this is a personal observation of mine, but I seem to see all over Cape Town that there are cranes everywhere, there are property developments all over the place, it looks like. What investment developments are currently underway?
Yeah, so your perceptive qualities are good, Mark. There's a lot going on. I think Cape Town's the safe kid on the block, if we call it that, from a South African point of view. To answer your question, currently there are 3 investment developments on the go. All these projects are in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, which is a very high-performing area. The progression on all the sites is good, we must say, with the completion of one of the developments scheduled later this year. And just as an example, the first phase of investors on this particular development have all successfully exited with returns ranging between 15 and 18% per year. And most of these investors have now rolled over or reinvested into the next available investment. So it's going well for them and the projects.
Wow. So just remind us, please, Nick, what investment opportunities are available now to investors?
Mark, there's a new investment cycle for one of the developments, which recently opened. This has the usual minimum investment amount of 100,000 rand, with a projected fixed interest rate starting from 14% per year, which we feel is very competitive in the current market.
Well, it's been really uplifting talking to you, Nick Morgan, one of the founders of Opportunity Private Capital. Please, if any of our FMR listeners are interested, can you give your contact details?
Sure. Mark, the easiest thing is the web address is Opportunity, so it's www.opportunity.co.za, or call the office directly in Cape Town, 021 919 9944.
And we've been speaking to Nick Morgan, founder of Opportunity Private Capital. Those contact details again, the website is opportunity.co.za and the telephone number 021 919 9944. Thank you, Nick.